Welcome to Weather to Watch on this Wednesday afternoon. All the action is east of the Mississippi, with cold air continuing to spill out of Canada into the eastern U.S. and the possibility of a big snow in the Carolinas from an offshore deepening low pressure center. We'll take a look at that and more coming up. Hi, I'm meteorologist Ted Keller. Visible satellite loop this afternoon shows if it doesn't move, it's probably snow, and that would be true of this entire swath here. From that storm over the weekend, still very visible and probably not going anywhere for several days to come. We have strong offshore flow. You can tell if the clouds take the shape of the coastline like they do here, that just means that the air is passing over water, picking up moisture and heat, and then all of a sudden clouds develop at a very predictable distance. We have some high cloudiness in the plains here, some snow will be possible there, but all eyes are on possible snow in this area right here. So let's take a look at the 500 millibar flow, see what's going on there. It's been a constant theme since November, really, to have troughing in the eastern U.S., so a big long wave trough like this. Now, this has come and gone in several iterations. You know, sometimes it's been weaker, sometimes it's been stronger. It's definitely pretty strong right now. And so this is the flow of cold air, another blast coming in there. And this little trough right here, this little shorter wave, so this is a longer wave trough. These little dips like this are shorter waves. This is going to get caught up in the flow and help to deepen this trough and combine all of that together to get a pretty strong low pressure development off the coast of the Carolinas coming up this weekend. And I'll show you how the models are looking at that in a second. If we just quickly take a look at the U.S., though, another Arctic high is settling in over the Dakotas and Minnesota at this hour. The purple colors, all the colors on here are temperatures, so the purple colors are below zero, and some of those are 10 below or more, not even counting wind chill. And so we have one frontal boundary kind of draped across the central U.S., stationary at the present time, but this high will definitely dig in. It'll have the most effects in this area here as the next couple of days unfold. If we look at temperatures now, it's single digits and below zero in northern Minnesota. It is above freezing, barely just south of St. Louis, perhaps. In Memphis, it's a little bit above freezing. Kansas City is. You can draw that all the way up into parts of Montana, but definitely the cold air has settled in across the northeast, and this will expand its territory greatly over the next couple of days. Take a look at the cyclogenesis. Cyclogenesis is just a development of low pressure at the surface, but in this case, we're looking at what's called bomb cyclogenesis, where low pressure areas deepen very quickly. So this is the Euro's idea of what this surface low will look like through Sunday. Look how tight that thing gets off the Carolina coast there. And also we have on top of this precipitation type printed out. And let's let this start over again. And we have cold air damming, which is where cold air gets on the eastern side of the Appalachians. So you notice the snow here, Charlotte. The deepening low is obvious right here, and that could cause some really wicked, very close to coastal snows to accumulate. But there's another disturbance that's actually causing this snow here as part of the South Carolina, North Carolina, a little more inland with that snow. And that's the Euro's idea. Let's watch the loop complete one more time. And here's the cyclogenesis, that bomb cyclone developing right in here, deepening very deep, and then, but fortunately, at least according to this model, that stays mostly offshore, so it kind of reduces the ability for that to really be a problem. By the way, these are deterministic models. These are the 12Z model runs, and I show these because they do show the precipitation type and the pressure systems. So this is the GFS's version, same broad snow canopy, same cyclogenesis, but this one's closer to the coast and causing a lot more problems with snow depth in parts of eastern North Carolina, even parts of Virginia, getting maybe as far north as Maryland, and even into Delaware. But we can guess about the snow all we want, but let's take a look at some actual output and see what everything is adding up to be. Now, first of all, this has nothing to do with the cyclogenesis. All of this is basically lake effect still. A couple of winter storm warnings, actually one in effect there. They're used to seeing so much snow in the UP of Michigan, a little bit around Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo, and specifically a lake effect snow warning off of Lake Ontario there in New York State. If we take a look at the next 72 hours, this is the National Weather Service's idea of what snow will accumulate. You can see why there's a lake effect snow warning in that part of New York, and it is forecasting 4-inch snow totals possible in parts of the Carolinas and the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia, and even parts of Tennessee and South Carolina. That is as of today, and this is a 72-hour forecast. It only goes through 6 a.m. Saturday, and the snow could be going on beyond that. So they look a little bit beyond that. Let's take a look at some model data. In this case, we will be using the ensembles. That kind of smooths things out a little bit. But even having said that, look at a lot of North Carolina is seeing a half foot of snow or more. If it's purple, it's a half foot. I even see some 8-inch totals in there. And this is a 10-to-1 ratio. It's a pretty large snow area. And it's hinting that right along and just to the west of the low track is where some of that heavier snow could be, the darker purple colors. If we look at EPS's version of this same storm, it's a little more shy about snow totals inland, but is still pretty gung-ho about half foot or more snow totals in the coastal areas of the Virginia and North Carolina. It's a big pattern change. Let's talk about it. EPS, this comes out late on Monday, so this being now Wednesday, it's the first time I really have a chance to talk to you about it on this video, and it does show a huge deficit in the 500 millibar heights, dropping far to the south with very, very low numbers for this season for that place. That's how you interpret that right there. Meanwhile, the west is balmy and mostly dry. If you look at the temperature anomalies for that same period, again, this is an average over 7 days beginning this past Monday. Much of the country is just in the deep freeze. So this is the average temperature and how far it is below normal for a 7-day period. So I say that with all that emphasis because to be able to say that you're averaging over a long period of time, this extensive of a below normal area is saying something. So below normal is over on the bottom left here. That minus 20 is as far down as the scale goes. So very, very cold. And the snowpack, which was laid down here, has a lot to do with that. But let's take a look at these specific temperature trends. A cold weather advisory in effect where you see this light green color right here. Also a extreme cold warning in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. And a cold weather watch for parts of Mississippi. No doubt this will be expanded a little bit between now and the weekend. Let's go right to it. The National Weather Service high temperatures and departures, with the colors being the departures. So everything in blue and green is way below normal. Florida in particular and much of the eastern seaboard is seeing the most extreme in terms of below normal temperatures. On the other hand, Montana is balmy with 50s expected up there. So that's for Thursday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so that's for tomorrow. Look how it expands for Saturday. Huge deficit in temperature once again, with highs well below freezing. Some of the temperatures in Florida could break 100-plus-year-old records. Very, very cold air. And high temperatures only in the 50s in the northern part of the state, only in the 40s or even 30s in the panhandle of Florida on Saturday. Meanwhile, again, on the opposite side of the seesaw, temperatures near 60 in parts of Montana. And then we go ahead to Monday, some moderations, but still very cold in the eastern, let's say 1/3 of the U.S., still pretty moderate underneath the ridge out west, and also pretty dry. So if you look at the temperature pattern, so this is the 3 to 7 day temperature outlook, and these all have different zones and different dates, but you can kind of see, I could label all those, or you could just mark the high pressure system as it progresses from each zone and just moving right along from the 31st right through the 4th. For the 6 to 10 day outlook, again, pretty high emphasis at the eastern seaboard in Florida, having the highest confidence of being below normal Tuesday through Saturday of next week, whereas the west, especially the extreme west and northwest, is very warm. And last graphic here will just show you what the temperature hazard is on the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. So a slight risk of below normal temperatures shrinking, and the confidence level on that is only slight. So it looks like the pattern might be shifting to a little bit more moderate pattern, but we're going to have to wait at least 10 days for that to happen, especially for much of the East Coast. Thanks for watching this edition of Weather to Watch. It comes out every other day, or as the weather necessitates. Please remember to share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, or at the very least, like what you just watched. Thanks.